Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to my kitchen table shenanigans. I am Anna here on Palm Sunday to talk about death. Not the most fun thing to talk about, and we in the Western world pretty much don't do a very good job of talking about death. And yet here we are on our home planet, which seems to be embroiled in a lot of processes that are leading to death. And yes, I'm talking about humans and not just in current situations. We're in an accelerated period of human death on this planet, as is being documented by a lot of people. There have been unexplained excess deaths happening for the last 5 years. And of course, now we have these extra conflicts, which are really troubling, right? And frankly, I'm not here to talk about what's really happening because I don't know what's really happening. But today I'm here to talk about death. And why is because it's an integral part of the dark night of the soul. And I mean that metaphorically. I mean that from a psychospiritual perspective, as well as looking at, all of the ways that a human life is touched by death. And I know that everyone listening to this has been at some point in their life touched by death. And so when it comes to the times that we are in right now, some of the ways that we are being asked to dance with death is definitely the death of our previously held beliefs, the death of concepts, the death of structures that we used to think were here to support us that are not here to support us. And you could say that over the last, I don't know, decade or so, there has been a death of civility. There's been a death of a core belief in the basic goodness of other people, the division and separation that has been kind of thrust upon us has been very successful and dehumanizing. And so here we are to talk about this because this is the Dark Knight. You cannot do the Dark Knight without doing death. It's really can be really challenging and really scary, and I want to honor that. Um, and I'm going to get into what it means for you personally as well. And what better time to talk about death than on Palm Sunday, which for Christians around the world, this is a big week, and it's a week of death. And so, we celebrate the resurrection. Whoever is celebrating Easter in that way, I celebrate resurrection all the time. And here we are in springtime. So, of course, this is the greatest resurrection after winter for those of us in the northern hemisphere. For those of you in the southern hemisphere, you are on the downhill slope to the death of the year, right? And uh, the solar death as the sun is now starting to diminish its light as the moon takes over for you all down there. But for us up here, we are in the resurrection phase. But anyway, back to the dark night of the soul and death. It is painful. It is really, really painful, but it is so necessary and part of what we are being asked of, either on an individual dark night of the soul journey or on the collective dark night that we are all in right now, like in it, is that we have to die to ourself. We have to die to who we think we are, who we used to be. We have to die to the things that used to define us. This is you personally, this is us collectively. You have to die to what you believed about yourself, what you believed about society, about culture, about humanity, about what we're capable of, what you are capable of. You have to die to all of these various different identities that used to give you your sense of self. that used to provide a sense of security. I know who I am. I am a wife. I'm an artist. I am a healer. I'm a coach. I'm a whatever. No, I'm not any of those things. Those things are like articles of clothing that I put on. And at some point in this journey, and this is where we're at, is we're being confronted. I talked about that last week. All of these confrontations, they are leading to this death. And so, what does it mean to die to yourself? It's about dying to your false self. And so, those are those extraneous identities. And now we live in this time of like everything's about identity. I am this, I am that, and all of these ways that we're being encouraged to identify with our false self, which is really disempowering because you, my love, are eternal and you have an eternal self that couldn't give a rat's ass about all of those identities that culture is telling you are so important and that in so many ways are so limiting. So here we are in this dark night where we get to come face to face with this, where we get to die to our false selves and our false society and these false structures, which are not serving us, are not uplifting humanity, are serving to disempower us and, in fact, in many ways, enslave our consciousness in modes of being that are not of what we are made of, that are not in alignment with the truth of who we are. And so here we are this week leading up to resurrection. We cannot have a resurrection until there is a death. And it's really troubling, of course, when we're talking about the death of humans, the death of animals, the death of children. It's very, very, very troubling. I do not mean to make light of this. I mean to say that we are being tasked with confronting the ways that we have identified with false senses of identity, with structures, with organizations, with processes. But the gift of that is that we get to break free. We receive the permission from ourselves to be liberated. Yes, it comes with a cost. Yes, it is painful to relinquish aspects of yourself that you thought were true, aspects of society and culture that you thought were true. It's painful. It requires tenderness and compassion and curiosity and a willingness to be in discomfort. It is spiritual warrior at a whole new level. But we are at the threshold of a re-divinization. For you personally, reclaiming the divinity within you, and for us collectively as humanity. And death is painful, but necessary because it clarifies. I'm sure you've had that experience when someone close to you passed and you realized what the most important things were. That's the clarification. Stripping away all of the bullshit. It's an essentializing process, getting back down to the essence of what is real, of what is right, of what is good, what is just, what is virtue, what is holy, what is divine. And it cannot be sidestepped, no matter how uncomfortable and no matter how long it takes. And also, we have to do it again and again. It is not a one and done of like, oh, let me just strip off these aspects of my identity and then I'll be fine. And then I can emerge from my dark night. Huzzah. Yeah, sorry. I wish it was that easy, and it ain't. But it leads to resurrection, which I wonder if that's what I'll talk about next week. I am sending you so much love and care and compassion If death stirs the pot for you, I am placing my hand on my heart and invite you to do the same. And simply breathe into your heart. You have the capacity to meet this, to meet these confrontations. And I promise you on the other side, it's so worthwhile. So as you go about your day, your night, your day tomorrow, your afternoon, I wish you love. I am sending you so much care and compassion as we journey through this together. And I remind you that you are not ever alone, no matter how it appears to the contrary. Much love and blessings to you.